If you're in the market for a small crossover, you might find yourself overwhelmed with options. Everybody from Porsche to Toyota has a small crossover, and in some cases, they have 2 or 3.
Though many in the class share similar specs and capabilities, there are a choice few that stand out for being better than the rest. First, there's the Honda HR-V. It does average so well, it's actually quite good. And I don't mean that as a knock, it just does everything well. You also have to consider the Subaru Crosstrek, which, though larger, is more capable than the HR-V, thanks to Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive and excellent ground clearance. But really, there are so many good vehicles in this category, we simply don't have time to list them all. But is there room for one more? Hyundai thinks so. This is the all-new Kona. It starts at $19,000 and can be optioned all the way to $30,000 like we have it here, in what they call Ultimate Trim. On paper at least, it seems to check all the boxes.
But is it good enough altogether to make this a Hyundai worth buying? Let's find out. With a car like this, we have to first look at the design, and the first thing you're going to notice is the color. Hyundai calls this lime twist. It's bright, it's vibrant, it gets noticed. It certainly is a color that Malcolm Brickland would appreciate. But then your eyes go to this fine slit that's a headlight. Now, that's actually a problem. In the base trim, these actually house halogen headlights. In the top trim, like we have here, they're LEDs. Unfortunately, IIHS has determined that the halogens aren't bright enough and the LEDs cause too much glare. Though the Kona passed all the other tests, because of the headlights, it cannot be considered an IIHS top pick. Under the hood is a 1.6-liter turbocharged engine. It has fuel injection and it puts out 175 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. And keep in mind, this vehicle is smaller than a Subaru Crosstrek. So when you're looking at size to power output, that's actually pretty impressive. It's connected to a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission and it powers all 4 wheels using Hyundai's all-wheel drive system. Now, a word about the all-wheel drive system. It's one of those type of setups where it mostly has power to the front wheels until it detects slip, and then it'll put power to the back wheels. So if you want to do any serious off-roading, this really isn't the machine for you. Honestly, most people, they want traction for slippery conditions like rain or snow, in which case, this is fine. EPA rates this setup at 29 miles to the gallon on the freeway and 27 around town. Cargo area is actually pretty good for the class. With the second row up, you're looking at nearly 20 cubic feet. Put the second row down and you have almost 46 cubic feet of total capacity. Now, keeping in mind this is a subcompact crossover, or at least close to one, it's kind of surprising I actually fit back here. My head dips into the headliner, but they have a cutout, so I'm not rubbing my head. I have room for my legs. Now this is an actual seating position. I did not push this forward just for the shot. And I even get my own armrest with cup holders, which you don't always see in this class of car. So actually, it's pretty nice. Once you're inside the Kona, you will be impressed with the number of features. This vehicle is loaded. And I'm not just talking about the leather upholstery and the leather wrapped steering wheel. This thing actually has a ton of features. We'll start here. This is the upgraded 8-inch touchscreen display. Now, irregardless of which Kona you buy, you're going to get a touchscreen display. They all come with at least a 7-inch. This being an ultimate all-wheel drive version for close to $30,000, yeah, you get the 8-inch, which is good. So the 8-inch includes, like I said, built-in navigation and maps, which is nice. It also has a number of other great features, such as Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Plus, you can stream XM radio as well as HD radio. And when you go into reverse, it turns into a rear view camera. Now, it doesn't have surround view. I really wouldn't expect that in this category. But the rear view is nice because it does have a tracking line, which is always a plus. I can, of course, control all sorts of functionality in here, including the radio, tone, voice commands, and all of that. It's also equipped with Bluetooth interface, so if you want to pair your phone, you can do that as well. My personal choice is to use Apple CarPlay. All I have to do is plug in the phone, plug in the USB, goes right there, and boom, we have Apple CarPlay. Now, the nice thing about Apple CarPlay is it then takes the voice commands from the vehicle and instead turns it into Siri commands. Let's go ahead and give that a try. How old is Britney Spears? But because we're in the middle of a forest, we don't actually have connectivity, so we can't use that, which is exactly why you buy a crossover with built-in maps. Because you don't always have data. Sorry, it's a big country. A lot of it is not covered. Also down by the USB thing here, we have a QI charger, which is basically the standard these days. That is wireless charging for iPhone 8 as well as select Android devices. Moving over to the steering, we have this lovely leather sculpted wheel. It's actually really sporty and aggressive looking, and I like it. I especially like that it has this color matched stitching in the wheel. Now, I'm not a huge fan of it on the plastic pieces throughout the cabin, but I think on the leather, it actually looks really nice. It's just one of those little touches that kind of elevates the sophistication of this vehicle. On the steering wheel, we have buttons for the cruise control, as well as the mode switcher for the center multifunction display, which gives me all sorts of information, such as driver assistance, miles per gallon, as well as the adaptive safety stuff. This one actually has some great features too. We're looking at lane detection with auto steering, which is neat. And it also has blind spot warning, as well as collision detection. But interestingly, it does not come with adaptive cruise control. They were one taco away from the full Mexican platter, which is disappointing. I want the full platter. I don't want just part of a platter. I would have liked to have that adaptive cruise control because when you're traveling state to state, yeah, I'll tell you, that is a useful feature. There's one more thing I really want to talk about, and it's not these multi-function seats, which are actually really supportive and nice, nor is it the sunroof. What I want to talk about is this button right here. It says lock. So anybody with any off-road experience would say, hey, that must mean this vehicle doesn't have all-wheel drive, it's got four-wheel drive. Not only that, it's got four-wheel drive with a diff lock. Yeah, no, it doesn't mean that. It means that you can override the car's logic to give you a primarily all-wheel drive experience, granted still with open diffs, as opposed to the default front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive when slipping experience that you would normally get. It doesn't enhance capability, it just enhances preference. If you're stuck in 3 feet of snow, that ain't gonna help you at all. Ask me how I know. I've been stuck in 2 feet of snow. That did not help me at all. So there you go. Don't get confused. That button does not mean any more than just, I want to set a preference for the existing all-wheel drive system. We do get hill descent control here, though. That is nice. You know, on a really steep incline, it'll control the rate of descent. And then I also have parking meters to make sure I don't bump my car around the parking lot, which is neat. Another surprising feature in this vehicle is this. Wait for it. A heads-up display. Now, granted, it is one of those plastic pop-up ones that, I don't know, it just seems like it's going to get dusty and then you're going to clean it, you're going to accidentally scratch it, and then it's just going to be a hassle. I do prefer heads-up displays that project onto the glass itself. But if you're driving, it's in your eye line, it's a safer way of looking at your speedo. Although, honestly, your speedo's right there. It's not that big of a difference. But for those of you who like to pretend like you're Maverick in your own Top Gun universe, there's your toy for your car right there. So it's loaded with features that you want every day. But this is a crossover. You want to take it out onto a forest road. Granted, the one they gave us has 18-inch wheels, which you don't really want to take out on a forest road, but it's a crossover. We're taking it out on a forest road. If you're in the market for a crossover of this size, the Kona is an excellent choice. But do keep in mind, there's the issue of the headlights, but also there's the ride. Honestly, I don't think 18-inch wheels are a great choice for this. You already have fairly firm suspension for a crossover, and the firmness is too much. On 18-inch wheels, it just exacerbates the problem. I think it would be much better with 16s. So on this smooth gravel, it's really not that bad. 18-inch wheels. Okay, I can see that. That works. Oh wait, now it's getting loud. Now it's getting really loud and rough. Oh, that's really loud. Okay, this isn't fun anymore. Yeah, 18's not good for gravel roads. Okay, so let's test out this, what they call four-wheel drive lock, although it's not really that. So I'm on a slippery condition here, and I'm gonna stop. Once I stop, I'm gonna go ahead and put the car into drive. I'm gonna put it into first gear, and I have traction control off, and I'm gonna floor it. What I'll probably feel is the front wheels doing most of the work. And go. Slow, slow. Okay, yes, now I'm feeling the front wheels really grabbing. So now I'm gonna lock. It says four-wheel drive lock on. Let's see if it feels any different. And go. Yeah, it feels a little bit different. It feels like the logic is really taking the power, not just from the front, but kind of keeping more of it in the rear as a default. Now, it's not going to give me more capability because the vehicle still has open differentials. Nothing is going to lock and turn at the same rate. For that, you would need to get something like a 4Runner or a Toyota Tacoma or even a Colorado with the low range gear set. So we have to go back to that question. Would I buy this or the HR-V or even a Subaru Crosstrek? Well, it's pretty good, and I can see somebody who lives in the city, this might be a better choice. However, personally, I gravitate more towards those other vehicles. I just do.
So I know some people will say, hey, what about the Toyota CHR? Well, you can't even get that with all-wheel drive. It's only available as a two-wheel drive vehicle. And for me, that doesn't make it a proper crossover.
For Driving Sports, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe right here for more videos, and please leave a comment. Give us a thumbs up, a thumbs down. Tell us what you like, tell us what you don't. We're always making new videos, and honestly, we're making them for you.